So let's do this. It's Tuesday, May 5th, 2020 at 5 p.m. And I bring this emergency meeting of the Board of Health, the Douglas Board of Health to order. It should be a quick meeting. What we have is we'd like to have some sort of a motion where in situations like we're in, rather than to have Emily say visit the property, this particular property that's in question, we can appoint the police as our agents as our Board of Health agents to deal with issues like this. Do we have questions on this or anything that you'd like to know about it?
Yeah, specifically, what is the issue?
Okay, the issue is we have a person who was tested or actually has the coronavirus. And so what happened is he was taken to the hospital, and this other person was acquainted with this person and spent quite a bit of time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Agnieszka, okay? Spent quite a bit of time with this other person who had the virus. And so he was, we requested him, we asked if he was going into quarantine, and he refused. So that's pretty much where we are right now, unless Agnieszka has something to add to that.
Yes, so they spent some time together. They went for testing together. And they went the same car driving to Worcester, coming back. One tested positive, one tested negative.
Okay.
They were together.
Okay.
So it's like 20 minutes one way, 20 minutes another way, so at least an hour.
Sure.
To get one car. And so he agreed to do some things, but some of them he said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So when I talked to him, he doesn't understand, I think, the need for quarantine. He feels that if he was tested, he tested negative, he's not gonna get sick.
I had a question, Agnieszka. What are do we know yet what the percentages for false negatives or false negatives, I guess?
No, he was tested and he was tested negative. Like I was able to check.
There are no false negatives?
You know what? We don't know that. They both were tested at the same place. They both were tested. He had no symptoms. The other individual had symptoms.
So as far as the test goes, are there?
No, this is pretty reliable test because he had a swab done in the big facility. So it pretty much we can rely on that result.
Except Agnieszka, there is no test that's 100% positive.
No, there is none.
So you will get some positive, some false positive, and some false negative.
Yeah. So we cannot go into that right now. Nobody really. No, we have to go just by the results.
Yes.
All right.
I understand.
Okay.
Bob, what is this reference to Wallem Lake by the town council?
Okay, we'll discuss that in a minute, but I just wanted to kind of get this out of the way here.
Okay, I just thought they were related in some way. Okay.
Well, they are and they aren't actually. But
I'll shut up.
No. I don't mean to shut you up. I just mean, what I'd like to do is make a motion, first of all, that we appoint the Douglas Police Department and any of its officers as agents under COVID-19 circumstances.
Yeah, so moved.
I thought I read that memo already from you, Bob.
You did.
Didn't you write a memo that all of the police and the paramedics and everybody else was an agent?
No, I didn't write that. Kristen sent it to me.
That was a draft of a motion. Yeah, that was a draft.
Oh, that was the draft of the motion,
Well, that was,
yes.
I think that's to go to the police after we've
Order.
done
Yeah,
this.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, they did type, my name was put in there, but it's not, I didn't draft that document.
Not signed, it's not, right, nothing official yet.
Nothing official, right?
All right, Corey, what's the motion again?
So moved what Bob said, we motion that we give the, ability to the police department to, what's the word, Bob? To,
Act as our agent?
To act as agents, yeah,
yeah, thank you.
that's, yeah.
And uphold the rule
I'll
Yeah,
second
act as-
that.
right.
and nothing.
Okay, so the gist of it is there. Emily, second, is there a discussion? Any discussion? No,
No,
all in favor?
that sounds good to me.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Enforce,
Okay, the
that's
motion
the word
passes.
I was looking for, enforce, that's the word I was
Of
looking for.
course, yeah, that's a
Thank you.
good word. That's okay, we have the
Been a long
gist of
day.
it there.
I've been
Yeah.
staring at a computer all day, so it's.
No
been a
issue,
long day.
no issue. Okay, now, Dick, you had mentioned Wallem Lake.
I think that was an email to Matt from town council, and I think that was just another issue Matt was looking at with him. I don't think that pertained to us.
Well, I think that what he was getting at, I did read that memo. And
Yep.
I think what he was getting at is he wants, let's see, he said we could ask the Board of Selectmen. In other words, we ask the Board of Selectmen to invite a state representative to attend a virtual meeting to better explain what their plans might be as far as enforcing any regulations over at the Wallem Lake, state facility. So basically, he wanted us to approach, the Board of Selectmen to handle that situation, to look into that situation, actually. Because it is an issue. And you know as well as I do, come June, July, I see the cars going by on my Route 16 here. And,
Gonna be a problem.
yeah. And Emily, you should know, you're living right there, right? You see them coming. And it's an issue. It's an issue. So it's within our boundaries too.
Yeah, I would say, it definitely needs to be paid attention to. I think the selectmen hopefully will be.
Yeah, so what I will do is I'll talk to Matt about that and see if we can have the selectmen just, do that, invite a rep from there and see where they're coming from. But I would assume they're following all state guidelines.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever
so
they may.
there's going to be a huge. I mean, if we're able to, that's the problem. I mean, we're a town, but it's a state facility, and that's
Yeah.
why we've always run into problems. Because I know even the police have a hard time with should state police be covering that or should Douglas police be?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's always been an ongoing thing. Now we
Sure.
have, we know a lot of people from Rhode Island come up to use the Wallem Lake. Now we're talking
Yes.
out of state people when you're not really supposed to be in
Right.
it. So that creates a whole nother dynamic. I mean, it'd
Exactly,
be
yeah.
great if we could just shut it down to out of state altogether
yeah.
for the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would look. I don't know how much revenue you lose from that, but
Well, I'll tell you, well, I have my own feelings about this out-of-state business, but, I mean, they go into that facility for the same price as our residents do.
by the carload.
Doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. So maybe this will be a opportunity to change something like that. But I mean,
Right.
I would definitely say for the summer, I think they need to seriously consider just shutting it down to out-of-state residents.
I wonder too, like if they can say what is allowed there. You know what I mean? Like, can people go bring their boats there if they're just with themselves or their families and go fishing? You know,
Hmm.
things like that.
But where, do they have a dock or a docking area that they can,
They do.
they do? I've been down there once or twice, but,
No, don't close the dog because we are going there.
oh, okay. Well, you should. That's a good place to go. It really is. It's a great place.
Mhm.
It's just that it gets so crowded and,
Oh yeah,
you know,
I don't go to the beach.
oh,
Just
yeah, okay.
take the boat there, but
Well, that's what I was
just-
gonna say. It's different if you're just on your boat compared to going to the beach,
Right.
compared
you
to
know what?
even
I
just being in the walking trails if you're going with your family to get exercise.
Right, yeah.
I think just keeping this open to mass residents would make a huge difference because
Huge.
most of the people are from Rhode Island there.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and word
know
spread
that.
in Socket that you can drive to Douglas and go swimming real cheap, I think, and
Yeah, cheaper than they can in their own state,
it blew up.
which is
from there,
ridiculous.
You know?
And we
Right.
get charged, if we go that way, we get charged more than their residents do.
Oh yeah, you go to
How does
Narragansett.
that make sense?
I mean, it doesn't, but
Oh, no.
somebody's sleeping, you know.
Yeah. Okay, the other thing that, you know, so we can wrap this up. Basically, I have this, and I think everybody else has it, I don't know, information and guidelines for persons in quarantine due to COVID-19. Everybody have that document or read that document?
The CMR,
It's not a CMR.
oh, you got a 105 CMR that's about that.
Oh, 105 CMR?
Oh, that's okay, that's the reg, I guess.
Yeah,
That's the reference from-
105
reference from
CMR, that's
town.
the health.
I closed that window.
Okay, Mass Department of Public Health. Anyway, just to quickly, we'll do this. We pretty much follow state guidelines for, you know, quarantine and that type of thing. If we would like to add to that, or we would like to subtract from that, now is the time that we can do that, make a motion to do that, add or subtract anything that we feel we don't want in here. We don't want that as a regulation or a town bylaw. So basically, in other words, going back to the situation where we have this whole COVID-19 situation. This person does not want to follow all the rules. This person wants to make up his own rules or not do any kind of rules. So what do we do in a situation like that? Do we deal with that person as an individual and we have we loosen the coach in other words, we loosen the regulation up a little bit so we can make it so they'll accept it. It'll be more acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
This person's not actually positive. They tested negative.
Right.
So if you test positive, you have to stay home. And what if you refuse? Then
What I don't understand is if this person does not have COVID ID and he didn't test positive, why is he being quarantined? Just because he was with that person for over
Yes.
5 minutes?
contact.
That's why.
Yeah. They were in the same car driving together,
Okay.
spending time together.
Okay, so that's
But
the
the other
reason.
person was symptomatic.
Okay. The other person was symptomatic, but this person has spent greater than 5 minutes with the other person, and that's exactly why they're.
Yes, and he
Okay.
told me that they were wearing a mask. They had the windows open. I
Yep.
cannot really confirm this. I cannot verify this.
Mhm.
And even though they were not N95 masks, so even if they were wearing masks, but they were in closer contact than 6 feet, driving in one car
Okay.
for
Okay.
longer than 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, there was a paragraph in here that I wanted to.
Yeah, Bob, this is
Another wo-
Dick.
I'm sorry.
This is Dick. Can I read something here?
Sure, go ahead, please.
Under severe infection due to novel coronaviruses. This is
Uh-huh.
105 CMR.
Yep.
It says asymptomatic contacts should practice personal surveillance for symptoms, and should any occur within 14 days of the individual's last contact with the case, report them to their health care provider immediately.
Right.
It doesn't say anything about quarantine. It doesn't say anything about that. Isolation. However,
But we have to remember in what setting this individual lives. That would be like a single family house.
yeah, I understand, but it
would
doesn't say
be-
that. The law doesn't say that. So what I think we should do is say you will wear a mask for 14 days. If your symptoms change, in other words, if you get sick, you got to notify Agnesia.
No, he has to call his doctor. But first,
Yes. Yes.
but you know what? We have to take under consideration other residents of the of the complex, because we don't want him
That's
to walk
true.
freely,
That's true.
freely on the hallway, and
But the law doesn't say that.
Yes.
We can do more though.
See,
Can
this
we
is-
mention that he or she quarantine, remain isolated, and then if in those rare instances, as often as possible, and when they have to go somewhere to go get milk or whatever, that they have to wear a mask.
Yeah, the state law.
you know what? We don't want him at the stores, honestly. The
Yeah.
best thing would be, if he is a smoker, so he would go outside and smoke. We want him to be away from the other people.
Can we
And it's-
add like that people in apartment buildings, like something
There
about
you
that,
go.
like they need to quarantine even if negative, like for a certain period of time?
Only those who are in close contact with the positive case.
Right.
So
That's more or less what I was thinking, is that,
Right.
every case is different, because in this situation, he's living with other people in a apartment type complex, or actually it's like a nursing home complex. But right now, to date, they are actually taking his food to him, picking up his laundry, doing his laundry. They're doing everything for him. So it's not
Oh.
like he's without, and he's stranded there and he can't he's living fine.
So the
you
main
know,
one is he
All
smokes.
he has to do is stay. Oh, that's another story, but yeah, this is what I'm saying. Every case is an individual case, and we have to have some flexibility to work with. So if we adopt these go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. You know what?
Did
And with
somebody
this
say something?
individual, we have to be flexible. We have to do what we can.
Yes, I understand. Exactly. So we can't say much more than that, but simply that this is a definitely an individual case, you might say.
Mhm. And can I just add
So if
something?
we could,
Can I
yes,
just
by all means, go ahead.
Yes, because I just want to answer Dick's question. When you go to quarantine guidance, CDC guidance,
Mhm.
there is a section which says how long must you follow the instruction. And they said you will need to remain in quarantine for 14 days. So it says exactly 14 days, Dick.
Right.
One of
Right.
at the end of the information. So at last page. Last page number
And
3.
in this case, even though he did not test positive, it's an individual case, and it should be handled differently than, word for word on this sheet here, or this document here. It should be handled specifically for his needs and the needs of the people around him. I don't know if that makes it any more clear, but so if we could adopt some sort of a motion that would say that we pretty much follow the Massachusetts guidelines for quarantine, with the exception of um, special situations, something to that effect, where it gives us enough flexibility that we can move one way or another, with depending on the situation.
Maybe like special situations regarding living situations. Like those
Yeah,
are the special
let's
situations.
say, well, for example, you live away from the center of town, okay? You have houses out there, okay? You want to go out and garden in your yard, and nobody else is around. You have, pretty much open space. We're not going to say make you do the same thing as maybe another person who is limited for space, who's living around a lot of people, um, apartment type situations. They're two totally different things,
Yeah, I agree with that.
and we're not living in the city. Like a lot of these documents that are coming out pertain a lot to areas of high population.
I
So
agree.
how does, yeah. So how does that sound? I mean, how anybody have anything to
How do
add to that, or go ahead?
So how do we word that in a motion? A motion that we adopt them?
Well, I would say simply that we choose to follow the Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Massachusetts guidelines for quarantine, with the exception of individual situations where, that just leave it at that, leave it somewhat open.
Okay. And then and we already made a motion that we gave the police department
We did.
Yes,
enforce those rules.
Yeah,
So
but
the
we,
Yes.
problem we're gonna have is everybody's gonna have an individual situation and want us to talk about their individual situation.
No,
So
this
you
is the
can't-
first one. We in Tory cases, this is the first case when we have
Right.
to
Strange.
look at this. There, so far was no issues. People,
Why don't we specify unique situations or just say unique situations? That way it's sort of
yeah,
rid of
yeah.
the regular stuff,
as
the-
defined by whom?
What's that, Dick? Sorry.
I'm sorry,
As defined by whom?
defined by whom?
Yeah.
Well,
But-
it's the kind of thing that you go ahead.
I'm looking at this going before a court, and they're gonna throw it out.
Well,
Can
they
I
may,
say-
He has
may,
the
but-
right of appeal.
yeah, they may throw it out, and that's all well and good, but how many people are really going to want to go to court? To be quite honest,
Right.
to be honest with you, it's the kind of thing that we hope that people will conform, and we're trying to do it in a way that is not affecting anybody's freedom, to
Yeah,
a certain extent. I mean, yes, it is affecting their freedom, but
I think we're being more flexible, if anything.
what's that?
I said I think we're being more flexible,
Yeah, we
if
are.
anything.
Yeah, we are, but we kind of have to, because yes, they can take it to Superior Court, and yes, they can do a lot of things that would definitely go against our
Right.
regulations. But the point is, do they really want to take it that far?
Right.
All right, so
That's
I
the
don't
point.
think so.
now
So
what is
can we
the issue
specify-
here? The issue is contact for some period of time, right?
Yes,
We're concerned about that. An asymptomatic person is in contact with someone who has coronavirus. If we could define
it
that,
says more than,
go ahead.
well, it just says greater than 5 minutes, right,
so
Agnieszka?
10 to 15 minutes longer
15?
than, yes,
Oh,
10,
15, okay.
yes, 10 to 15, closer than 6 feet
Where did the 15 come from?
from CDC.
Perfect. Okay, so there it is right there. More than 15 minutes, less than 6 feet.
Mhm.
And what we would do is we would either we're going to strongly suggest isolation, quarantine, or we're going to command it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. On the orders that we have that we got from Cheryl, the attorney for the state, I thought we were supposed to do a motion on an administrative order where you issue an order of isolation, like specifically for the person. Where you have to identify the person, the subject to the order, the date, the time, the place of the isolation, when the isolation or quarantine is to begin, and its duration.
Yeah, when it ends, yeah.
Yep. The reason for the order and its legal authority.
All
And
right, so can we order this individual to remain quarantined? I mean, can we write right in there, minus like when you wear a mask to go outside and smoke your cigarette and then go back inside? Can we like put that right in there? Just tell
Yes.
the guy he's got to stay quarantined to 10 to 14 days,
And
pending negative test or something at
Yeah.
10 days. No public places. If he does need to go outside to smoke a cigarette, he has to wear a mask. Stay
Right.
10 to 15 feet away from people while he's
Yeah.
smoking. And
not
then,
smoking with the mask, right?
well, totally.
That's exactly what we need to do, I think.
All right.
Yeah,
let's-
that's
You're right on.
Okay, then let's just do that. Let's write a motion just for this guy.
Now, do we need to do this in executive session? Because do we have to, I don't know if we have
No.
to say his name. No?
I think
No.
you can probably add his name after. I mean, I think.
All right. So, okay, so we're gonna
Yeah,
write
you
an
can-
order.
You can add his name after. yeah.
When does it
I mean, this
start?
could be,
When does it-
this is why I say, this is for this individual person, but somebody else, it could be totally different.
Did this start
And
today?
that's why we have to be, I'm sorry?
No,
When did this start?
hasn't. Oh, his quarantine
Sunday,
was supposed to start on the 3rd.
Sunday, yeah.
Yep. So the 3rd to the 16th, was
All
it?
right, so can we make a motion that this individual remain quarantined from the 3rd to the 16th, you said?
Yep.
Yes.
From the 3rd to the 16th, at home quarantine. If he does need to go outside to smoke a cigarette, he's ordered to wear a mask until he gets to a place where he can smoke, remaining 10 to 15 feet away from any other individuals, in which case he returns back to his residence, again wearing a mask.
Yeah, fine.
In the hallways, I mean, anything, anywhere where there's possible contact
Right.
with any public area, any common area, he would have to wear a mask in. Can you
Mhm.
shorten that up a little bit?
You're talking really
I think
fast.
that's.
I know, I got so many ideas, Kristen.
I know, stop it.
I'm an idea guy.
Kristen, did we miss anything that we should have in there?
Read it back to me.
Thanks, Corey. I'm gonna try and read it back to you. So, an order of quarantine from May 3rd through May 16th must remain in quarantine. If he's to go outside in a public area or common area, must wear a mask.
Until
If
it's
he's going
time.
to, Hmm?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep, if he's gonna smoke, he must remain 10 to 15 feet away from any individual near him. What else?
Yeah, I think that's good. And so wear a mask until he's at least 10 to 15 feet away from any other individual, in which case he can smoke, go back and put the mask back on, go back inside. And all right.
And he should not be allowed to visit any public places, supermarkets or public places also.
And if he shows any signs of the virus, he is to report immediately to his physician.
Yeah, any symptoms, report immediately to the physician. And yeah, add in there before that part, like, can wear a mask 10 to 15 feet to smoke cigarettes away from any other individuals, and he's not allowed to go to any public place, any like Anishka said, any supermarkets, any public places, not allowed to go to any public places. So take out the public places from the beginning of it. So the guy, just make common areas. So the guy,
Okay.
they quarantine in
yeah.
an apartment, ordered to wear a mask in all common areas, 10 to 15 feet away from any other individuals while he's smoking, mask back on in common areas, and he's not allowed to go to public places.
Okay,
Because I don't think you would consider the common areas, if you live in an apartment
right,
complex or something, that wouldn't be public place, that's just your home.
yep.
I
Okay,
think, Corey, I think what you said applies to anybody that's in the 15-minute contact area.
Yeah, I think we could, if we need to use that, I think we could broaden that out to just about anybody, you're right.
So all we do on this one is we just add his name and address, and that makes it unique.
Right, and then the order is set in place, so.
Next time we change different address, different name, and different person, same ground rule.
well, it may not be the same situation,
Maybe a little different, right, might be a little different, so.
Same ground rule.
which is why, you know, every time we do this, we have to have a special meeting.
Hopefully we
Probably,
do this.
if they refuse the request to quarantine themselves, yeah.
Enough,
No?
we got a motion now?
Oh, if that's a motion, yeah. Do we have a motion?
Kristen, are you happy?
I'm good, yep,
Okay, do we have a motion?
yep.
That
Yep.
is the motion, right?
So moved.
Okay,
Who's gonna
Second
second
it.
any
second it?
discussion?
Emily did,
All right,
Yes, Emily?
she seconded.
Oh, okay, is there a discussion? No discussion? Okay, then, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes, and that's it. So,
Before you run, Bob.
special town
before you
meeting.
run, In the letter
Yeah.
from town council, he has a sentence in there
Yeah.
which says, I'd inform property management. Tell them to warn the tenants
Yes,
of any risk. If we haven't done that, I think we should
yes.
warn all of the property managers.
have you already done that?
It
Agnieszka?
has been done.
They talk to the manager and she's aware of it. But we have to remember there is a privacy law, so we
Yeah.
have to be really careful with, because I cannot even give the names of people in quarantine to the first responders.
But they
I
can
can
say
only
that,
give-
they can say that within the group, that there is someone who is contagious. They can say
No,
that.
we cannot say that someone is contagious because he's not sick. He is not positive case.
Matt,
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
positive
Mhm.
one.
the town council said to inform property management to tell them it's up to them to warn the tenants of the risk.
So they are aware. I did
Yeah.
talk to the manager. They are aware of the situation.
Are there any
I'm sure
other,
all they can say is there's a positive case within the building or something, they can.
Yeah.
They know that, and they already were cleaning the building on Sunday.
are there any other property managers in town? There must be several.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Have
yeah.
we notified them all that it's their responsibility?
We don't have to.
no, I'd say case by case.
Yeah, if something happens, then they will know.
Okay. Okay,
Okay, so, do we have a motion to adjourn here?
so moved.
Seconded,
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned.